Welcome to the 25th episode of Roadkill, where we brought all of our junk that still runs, and a junk Datsun and the dog. And we're gonna find out if the dog can outrun the guys from Motor Trend in our garbage.
This is our zip tie and duct tape special.
We put together 9 cars that we're going to shoot out in this episode, but people ask us all of the time what happened to many of the cars that showed up on Roadkill that they've never seen again. Looking back, we've got that 73 Catalina from episode 1. I sold that thing to a couple back in Ohio, and they're still driving it. In the Cheap Truck Challenge, the Bronco, we unloaded that thing for like $500 when we were done. The Lamborghini, that went back to its rental agency, and the Rat Rod is still being used as a promotional tool by Sailor Jerry. When we did the thrash battle with the van and the wagon, yeah, when we were done, both of those things went to the junkyard. But the 55 Chevy that we put on the Gasser chassis, that is still in our shop, and it will come back. I promise you will see that Hemi-powered 55. Down in Australia, Gup loaned us that 727 cubic inch Holden. He brought it to the United States and ran Hot Rod Power Tour with it, and now it's back down under, and he is still doing killer burnouts in that car. The Junkyard Cuda was a funny story because we auctioned it off, and long story short, it ended up back at the junkyard that we bought it from. And it's not getting crushed, but it's still sitting there. Kind of the same story with the cop cars. After we were done thrashing on those, the guy we bought the Crown Vic from bought them both back, fluffed them up, and sold them. The Jeep Rod, you know the fate of that thing. Some guy bought it for like $500, and last we knew he was trying to sell it on Craigslist for $3,500. The Monza is still sitting behind Jeff Lutz's shop, maybe to be seen again someday. The Prius is flat as a pancake, although the tank still lives over at Bulletproof Diesel. Then there's the hugely popular muscle truck that we really wanted to shoot out in this episode, but we've been converting the thing to EFI and just didn't get it running right in time for the show. Our Bonneville car, yeah, we blew the motor up. I haven't worked on it yet, but that car will come back to the Salt Flats. Our custom Mercury went to Jim Norman at Norman Wineries in Paso Robles, California, and he has been working on that thing, painting it, doing some stuff to the engine, just make it into a cool cruiser. And then, of course, there's the Jaguar, which everybody's been dying to see. It's sitting around with no engine in it, but we do have a blown Blueprint Engines 383 small block for it. We just came up with a brilliant scheme, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's that good, and we probably won't pull it off. Because we didn't have enough to do trying to get all of these old project cars running and driving after they'd been sitting around forever, we decided to throw another one in the mix. And the one that was right in reach was our 71 Datsun 240Z. This is pretty easy to push.
This is why this would be great for the autocross. It's light. I love 240s and they are classics, but this one is pretty bad.
Oh, look at this. Check this out. See all the rust?
That's metal falling out of the deck lid. I can peel the car apart. Our 71 Datsun 240Z came from the guys at White Flag Racing. This is a $500 rust bucket of a Datsun. It's gonna be fast. It's got a 4.3 liter Chevy V6 out of an S10 pickup that I rebuilt with a set of bullet high compression pistons, a comp cams valve train, a new Holley carb. It makes 295 horsepower and has a 5-speed out of a junkyard S10. This could be fun, but we've never driven it. It's sat here for a year, and now we're gonna try to make this thing run. It's a race car, see? Push button to start.
Does it have a dead hole?
This is gonna end well. You sure that's gas?
Yeah, or it was at one time anyway. Nice!
Wow.
Okay.
It needs a battery.
Let's start making a list.
Okay.
This is the sleeve that's going over the formerly broken half shaft. You can see it's been welded back together and then sleeved with a piece of tube and welded around it to, in theory, make it bulletproof. Over here, it's welded, but not sleeved. This is the one thing we might have to fix under here. And it had a bunch of other problems. It didn't have a fuel system on the thing. So I'm thinking plenty of heavy-duty zip ties hold that pretty well right there.
You wanna zip tie the fuel pump to the rear end of the car.
Well, it's not moving.
We'll let Carlos drive this one.
Doesn't hurt my feelings.
What are you guys doing?
Cutting the axle in half so we can weld it back together with a sleeve on it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
On the car. Technically, this car ran and drove, but the reality was it was going to break as soon as it hit the parking lot. We're going to drill holes in it first and rosette weld it here and around the ends. It'll be stronger. I mean, is it going to last? I don't know.
You know, there's zip tying stuff, and then there's craftsmanship. This is just going over that line right now. Flawless.
Good God, man. Call up Nissan. Tell them they're doing it wrong.
It's like factory, right? We planning on driving this there? I just moved it 100 yards and I'm scared of the brakes.
So it's ready for the autocross is what you're saying.
Ah, 232 angry cubic inches. I was driving the Gremlin in here and noticed that the brakes are really bad. This rotor is warped and gacked. That is a big part of the problem right there. So the Gremmy needs a new rotor, which it's not getting right now. So that'll be fun on the autocross. Ah, precision handling. Yeah, I think this thing's a contender. Look at that baby.
The Gremlin is present and as autocross ready as a car with warped brakes can get. The El Camino is present, and we haven't driven the ramp truck since last summer, and we cannot find the keys. I'm gonna go to the ramp truck because I vaguely remember a hide a key being not so well hidden under the front bumper. Maybe that will save us. Bingo. Nice. Aha, door open. There we go. Woo! Two things are telling me that this show is a good idea. One, I found the spare key to the ramp truck and it fired right up. And two, if this was really a bad idea, somebody would have already come back in time to stop us from doing this. We got a pretty good indication of how well the Datsun was put together. I hit the brake pedal and the parking lights lit up. Oh, the brakes are really bad. Brakes are really, really bad. All right, well, we have 2 gears.
Okay, I take it back. It sounds like a UPS truck. So the Datsun wasn't registered or insured, so we were gonna put it on the back of our ramp truck and haul it out there. We were gonna do that tonight, but unfortunately, the radiator leaks like a sieve. We gotta deal with that or it's not even gonna survive the autocross deal. And so we're beat for tonight. We're gonna clean up, wrap it up. We're gonna meet here in the morning, wrench a little bit more, and then start hauling 9 cars 40 miles away for an idea that's getting worse and worse as time goes by.
Look what I got. Freshie.
That says champion on it.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna be with this car.
Next day, first thing in the morning, we installed a brand new radiator in the Datsun that was clearly worth more than the entire rest of the car.
Wow.
And we also needed to dig out the Ranchero. I sense the fear in the Motor Trend staff's eyes as we drive by. Oh yeah, show them the power.
The dog has proven that both you and I are expendable as far as the audience is concerned. We don't even have to be here.
She's the brains in the operation.
It's too bad that dog's so lazy. Doesn't appreciate what it's got.
And on the way there, Finnegan decided to surprise me with the news that we weren't going to have just 1 dog on this deal, but 2.
So they were doing maintenance on the apartment, and I had to take the dog to work today.
So you had her groomed?
Normally, Bella doesn't get along with other dogs.
We've had a lot of stuff stored in the Automobile Driving Museum in El Segundo, California for quite a long time. And so we went over there looking for our leftover projects, and we didn't even know where they were.
Still says Hot Rod on the building. We found it. Jaguar, stock car, and Ranchero.
The original plan was we'd buy that and see how far we could drive it on the street before it got impounded. And then the lawyers got involved and they got spooked. And so there it sits.
And that's genuine Alaska dirt.
Look at that, we didn't even unpack from this trip. The jack stands and wheels are still in here.
Nope. And look what's clean is the registration sticker. So we're good.
Oh, dude, there's dirty Alaska. These are yours.
Yep.
Okay, this car's nasty. This is it. This is what was in this car when we left Alaska. There's Freiburger's dirty clothes.
There you go. Wow.
It's like it's ready to go to Alaska.
Mint! Ah, memories.
Charging system's not quite working, so we're gonna leave the jump box under the hood, tied down with a fan belt, and drive about a mile back to our office.
It's kind of cool that we're finally getting all of these cars running at the same time after neglecting them for something between months and years at a time. But this is a hassle. I think this is only vehicle number 1, 2, 3, 4 that we've gotten running, so we've got another 5 to go.
Hey!
That's probably not good with the office and everything.
Both times we drove the Ranchero long distances, no matter how we twisted the distributor, this thing pinged. So, with David under the bottom of the car, cranking the engine over slowly, I slid a piece of welding rod through the spark plug hole of the #1 cylinder, and we figured out where top dead center was.
That's probably about half the dwelling right there.
So when we set the ignition timing to 30 degrees advanced max, that was actually 60 degrees. Thus the reason this ran like poop for 2 years. We remarked the balancer, we're about to fire it up, and I really think the amount of effort we just put into this balances out the number of zip ties we put on the Datsun.
Mint! I can't hear you!
You gotta put on your Tom Cruise Maverick face when you do that. Like all the other cars, at the last second I remembered this had a big problem with the brakes, and it was that I let a coworker drive it. He'll remain nameless.
Politically correct.
Brandon. And Brandon wears like size 14 combat boots to work every day. And he must have panic stopped when I loaned it to him and put his foot through the floor of the car because he actually bent the rod going into the booster. We're taking it apart and cutting the bent part off and hoping there's enough thread left there to put the adjuster on. And yeah, last minute roadkill. This is more roadkill hackery. We cut the bent part off the push rod for the booster, which now made it too short, so our clevis, which connects to the brake pedal, is too far away from it. There's no adjustment there. So I'm gonna extend it just that much. I'm gonna weld a nut to the clevis using a bolt that is the same thread as the push rod to align everything. And then that fixes everything. That gets us on the road. Fixed! Woohoo! Let's go.
It is 8:30 at night. All of our vehicles are still scattered to the wind. We have about 5 of them here. We're going to try and get 4 of them out to the track tonight by calling in reinforcements from the staff of Hot Rod in order to load up the Datsun onto the ramp truck. We're going to shuffle a bunch of this junk out there, leave it there overnight, meet at my house in the morning, drag some more crap over there, and so on and so forth until we finally have a show.
This morning we brought the El Camino and the Super Bee to the racetrack, and now we're at Freiburger's place picking up the Charger and the Crusher Camaro and the Macho Grande. I think after that we can actually start racing. This is the inside of just one of Freiburger's garages, and when I first met him, we came in here and actually cleaned and organized this entire place. Like, this was empty, you could walk in here, and now there's no less than 8 motors sitting in here. This man is a speed parts warehouse.
Here we have a perfectly good running driving car And we can't drive it out to Santa Anita because I can't get it registered. This thing hasn't been on the books since 1983, and when I took it to the DMV to get the VIN verified, the woman came out and looked at it and freaked. She literally, because it didn't have glass in the interior and because it looked rough, wigged out and would not sign the paperwork. It's 10 o'clock now. The Motor Trend guys are already over at Santa Anita, and I'm picking up this junk that has a dead battery. And you'll notice this is drag strip fresh, and we still have not put the air cleaners back in it, which is a pain in the neck. And you might see this green pile sitting here and wondering, why isn't that going with us? Well, the F-Bomb's not a roadkill car. Yet. It's waiting its turn. The battery on this thing has been stone dead for 6 months. So I take my jump starter that we just used on the Crusher and drive around with it under the hood. It's perfect.
We've got the last car ready. We're really late. We're headed back to Santa Anita, which means right about now, Johnny Lieberman is standing in an empty parking lot.
How about Carlos?
I don't think Carlos was coming till later, but from what I understand, Johnny's on time, if not early.
We gave them both the same call time. That just reveals Carlos watches the show and shows up at noon when we say 10:30. Johnny, not a fan.
We weren't going to shoot these things out by ourselves. We brought out the experts, Carlos Lago and Johnny Lieberman, both staff editors on Motor Trend, both guys who you've seen on the Motor Trend channel YouTube doing all sorts of professional driving in cars way better than this.
I'm near Modena, Italy, driving Horacio Pagani's personal Zonda S Roadster.
And so we were going to meet them there at the racetrack, but of course, we were late. I let Finnegan make that phone call.
Hey, Finnegan?
Yeah.
Hey, dude.
How do you like the autocross course?
So Freiburger sent an email last night, like, be here by 10. And so I've been here for an hour and a half. And where are you?
We're late, you know.
Oh.
We're right on time for us.
I know you want to be really helpful with this deal.
There's about 70 or 80 cones there that need to be set up into an autocross course. If you could just make that happen.
Just make an autocross course?
Tell him he's got the expertise that we lack.
Yeah, because we know you guys are big on testing at Motor Trend, and you know the best way to configure those cones given the cars that you have in front of you.
All right. Bye. I don't know why I believed anything he said. Like, 10 a.m. for these idiots. It's noon for other people.
Oh, there goes the neighbor's car alarm.
They're like suburban terrorists, you know? Like, do you own a house in the suburbs? You see these two coming?
I'm kind of scared,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that a driver's seat?
I wanted to be safe. I've seen the show, I know how it goes down, so I brought a couple things to prepare.
Wow.
Is that rubbing alcohol?
That's hydrogen peroxide. Rubbing alcohol is flammable. I brought this because I'm sure, actually, this would be
we need.
This would be a present to you guys.
He's going to prove useful with that.
I also brought some condoms just because, hey, you never know.
Wishful thinking condoms, too. Check those out.
I learned to always be prepared.
2 questions. One, is your wife's El Camino one of the cars?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And is the ramp truck racing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Everything
awesome.
here.
Can I drive the ramp? I want to drive the ramp truck.
As it turns out, I gave Lieberman way too much credit for actually working setting up the racetrack, because there was some chalk marks on the ground from a car club that had been racing an autocross there just like a weekend earlier. And so we ended up using that track, and it was perfect. Carlos and Johnny brought out a Kia Rio 5, which I'd never heard of. Apparently, it's a really high-end rental car. And they were going to do some lap times with that thing to set sort of a baseline with which to judge the roadkill cars. And then we were going to run through each car in the roadkill fleet, and we were all going to drive them.
I'm extremely happy we're finally going to get a Kia into an episode of Roadkill.
2, 1, go.
So first on track in the Kia was Carlos Lago. He was the guy to beat today. We've seen his videos. Guy knows how to drive. We've watched him drift some stuff that we don't even know how to pronounce.
Here are those all-season tires working as hard as they possibly can.
And so he got in the car and laid down a baseline of a 101.68. And Johnny backed that up with a 104.11.
I mean, you're in this because I asked Finnegan, and I'm like, what would piss off Freiburger the most? And he's like, probably a Korean car. So
we brought one.
I beat Johnny with a 101.91, but then Finnegan saved the day, bringing the glory back to Roadkill.
It's got a lot of dust.
Well, it does that when you drive on the chalk.
Beating Carlos with a 101.46.
Yeah!
Next up, ramp truck.
So far, a pretty good day at work.
This is our 1973 Chevy one-ton ramp truck, the genius vehicle that you can load a car onto the back of, eliminating the need for a trailer so you can haul stuff anywhere. It is powered by a 454 and a turbo 400 and probably 456s in the 14-bolt rear end. And let me tell you, this thing is a precision handling machine. We picked up the ramp truck at the very end of episode 19, and it was one of the best deals we have ever had. $3,500 for this thing, and the air conditioning works. So does the cruise control. We've said it before, this thing is way too good for us, so we were going to try hard to wreck it today.
So I saw something dangling down underneath.
Oh, just fuel line.
That's the fuel line. Okay, yeah. Good.
Yeah, race it.
Good luck.
3, 2, 1.
Go, baby, go. Oh, God.
Oh, I got a water bottle under my foot. That might be an issue.
It looks great though. It's
Yeah, it sounds
majestic. Oh, this could be bad.
Oh, camera truck, look out.
Look how far he was past the. Look at where he stopped.
That's better and more fun than any Ferrari.
Okay, 114.3.
114.30.
I want to drive it.
You know, the ramp truck wasn't nearly as bad as I expected. I thought it was just gonna wallow and be a complete disaster. And don't get me wrong, the thing understeers and does not stop, but you can actually throw it around. I thought it was pretty good. But the best part of the entire run was trying to get stopped in the stop box.
Oh, late break, late break. He's gonna kill David, he did that on purpose.
In the ramp truck, the Motor Trend guys were really close. Carlos put down the slowest time with a 1:18.85, and Johnny outran him barely with a 1:18.81. My driving skill in the ramp truck proved itself with a 1:14.10.
This is the 73 GMC Suburban Sierra Grande, better known as the Macho Grande.
We picked up this car and used it to drag Finnegan's 55 Chevy from Los Angeles all the way up to Oregon and back, but I didn't know how fast it was going to be because the 454 is worn out.
This truck has 350,000 miles on it.
I think it's going to be slower than the ramp truck.
If you drive as if there is no trailer back there, it should be really close to that.
We figured it just wouldn't make sense if we didn't do the autocross with the trailer attached.
There's no pin in here. The coupler has no pin.
Yeah, what's Spanish for bad idea?
3, 2, 1, go.
Yes! I didn't kill the trailer.
I gotta be honest, I did not want to beat up my 350,000 mile daily driver, and so only Finnegan and I ran it.
That looked pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
He ran a 1:15.30, and I beat him with trucker arm out the window at a 1:08.55. So far, the Kia is still in the lead, having outrun both the ramp truck and the Macho Grande, and so we brought out the big guns. Our Gremlin is a 1975 model, and everyone, yes, we know, it has a 1976 grille in it. It also has a completely worn out 232 straight six and the Torque Command automatic transmission and a suspension that is essentially destroyed. But it does have new tires.
Now we're going to Gremmy, and the argument is, will the Gremlin be slower or faster than the Macho Grande with the trailer on the back of it? And will it outrun the Kia?
It looks like the Gremlin got punched in the face. It's kind of got a black eye going on.
I've never actually been around a Gremlin and not had a joint, so this will be different.
Oh, okay.
But the exhaust leak might, you know.
Go for it. 3, 2, 1, go!
Ah, yeah, nice leisurely drive in the Grem.
It's not looking quick.
It's funny, you gotta get on it way early because of the delay in throttle response.
Now, warp brake discs.
Yeah, you want more bands because what it does is it disperses the energy across the width of the area. 3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah!
Aggressive.
Yeah!
It should be that it handles like a refrigerator full of bowling balls, but this is the next level worse than that. The Gremlin handles like a nun carrying a mattress.
We're making a new course here. Just keep moving cones.
Oh!
Solid third place.
Once I got behind the wheel of the Gremlin, I remembered how bitter I was about the fact that it tried to kill me in the middle of the desert when we were flat towing the Prius. So, when it came time, I made sure to turn the front tires into stop signs.
I think the car that the Motor Trend guys were most excited to drive was the Gremlin. It's a really bad, and it's gutless, and it bogs, it sometimes dies, and the brakes lock up. That said, that's a great little car. Next up was our Ranchero, the 68 Ford Ranchero that we built up to look like the car that Hot Rod used to win the very first Mexican 1000 off-road race. And it has manual steering that is slower than slow. This thing was the car that we hauled all the way to Alaska for the ice races, and it was a riot to wheel around the autocross. The thing about all these roadkill cars is watching them go around these corners is really like a ballet. It's really just a work of art. And to supplement that, we took our box of shop towels and left them in the back of the Ranchero so that it could wave its victory flag as it drove by.
Don't waste the tires.
How'd I do?
With style.
Go!
Forgot about the manual steering.
We were all so busy laughing our asses off in the Ranchero, it's a miracle that we even got it all the way around the track. But we did, and the finishing order is starting to look pretty familiar. Next up, naturally, the 68 Charger we call the General Mayhem.
It sounds epic. But you put it on pavement with a little bit of traction, and suddenly
The single worst handling car we had here.
We cobbled this thing together out of a bare hulk using used RV parts. It has a 440 out of a full-on Pace Aero motorhome.
Is it faster than a Kia? Because nothing's
No.
so far faster than a Kia Rio 5. It just sounds like metal flexing.
I like that.
Look at all the just coming out of that car.
handles really badly.
This car is bad. So bad. I think each of us only wanted to make one lap in the thing, and that's what Finnegan and I did. It handles so horrible with no sway bars on it and worn out front suspension. That thing needs some help before we ever drive it again. But we're gonna. I promise, it's coming. At this point, as much as we tried to make fun of the Motor Trend guys, they were still owning us because their Kia was still quicker than every single car that we had brought out here. And the next one up was Finnegan's wife's El Camino.
The El Camino is your typical hot rod muscle car. It doesn't have a lot of money in it, but where it does, it counts. It's got killer Falcon Azenas tires, it's got some Beltex suspension with big sway bars on it, and I had a feeling it could win on the autocross.
But is it faster than a Kia Rio?
This is the car that we did the engine swap up in the parking lot of Summit Racing in Nevada. It's got the original Turbo 350 automatic in it. It's got the regular old 308 open rear end, but I think there's a chance this thing's gonna run hard.
Frankly, my wife had no idea we were racing it that day, but I had a feeling this thing could be the quickest car around the autocross, and I was out to prove that.
3, 2, 1, go!
That looks really good, actually.
I'm thinking Kia's pretty scared right now.
That was a really bad, funny noise.
What happened?
Remember our trick? Welded together nut brake job?
Oh,
Broke in half when I came through here. How quick was it though?
It was faster than a Kia. You beat
faster than the Kia! Yeah! Win! So much win! Yes!
This is very telling, and this is maybe the difference between Hot Rod and Motor Trend. The first car to go faster than a Kia cannot go anymore.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, and I know I shouldn't have slammed the thing in park, but at the time, it didn't occur to me to shut the engine off, and I couldn't stop.
This car is 2 seconds faster than a Kia Rio.
Is that good or bad?
And finally, we brought the violence, pulling up the Crusher Camaro. You've seen this car a lot lately, and you know that we just stuffed it with 700 horsepower worth of Mast Motorsports LS7.
3, 2, 1.
I I was the first at the wheel in the Crusher, and I was just throttling this thing. Anything below like 80 miles an hour, and this thing is going to blaze rubber.
I really thought the Crusher Camaro could have destroyed all on the autocross course if it had a good set of summer tires on it. We were still rocking the snowshoes from when we drove home from Indy.
2, 1, go!
Impressively, Carlos Lago from Motor Trend took the win in the Crusher with a 1:00:55. And of course, it beat the Kia. That's good, because can you imagine the humiliation if a Kia had outrun the Crusher Camaro? Finally, at the end of the day, we looked around and we had two cars left, the Super Bee and the Datsun. The Super Bee wasn't running quite right, so we dragged out the Datsun, and then somebody let it sit with the key on forever, and it killed a fuel pump.
Stupid roadkill.
And with that, we were done for the day.
Well, what did we learn?
Absolutely nothing. We had a lot of fun beating on junk for no reason. Tomorrow we still need to beat on the Datsun and the Super Bee.
And if I could be serious for a moment,
No.
Carlos called it the Crusher Corolla, but I gotta say, like, we drive a lot of cars. I'll speak for myself. That's one of the coolest cars I've ever driven.
Oh,
That
cool.
is a hell of a
Thanks.
car.
That is amazing. I love that car.
Thanks. It's entertaining. Does good burnouts. So you're back tomorrow. You're not.
Yes.
Can't make it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was cool.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
For sure. For sure.
All right. Clean up. The plan for today is to wrap up our autocross testing with the cars that haven't run yet. Got to do the Datsun, because that's really the whole premise of this whole show, is making the Datsun run. And we got to run the Super Bee, which is going to be perhaps the single worst vehicle out here.
This is my own 1970 Dodge Super Bee that you've seen in a bunch of issues of Hot Rod Magazine, and it's been on the Motor Trend channel a bunch too. It's got a 484 cubic inch Dick Landy Hemi. It makes about 600 horsepower. It was in the episode of Roadkill where we drove it and the Crusher Camaro up to Salt Lake City together.
3, 2, 1, go!
The front tires are so skinny, and the car is so heavy, and the brakes are so mediocre.
Oh, steering is so heavy in this thing, and it's wallowing so bad. Oh, and the brakes do not work. Oh, and the front tires are just folding under.
I was sort of wimpy and cut a 1:15:56.
Well, I can't. Now stop it.
It's gotta be dead last.
2, 1.
It wasn't Finnegan's car, so he drove the thing like a man and ran a 1:09:76.
This is the most butchered roadkill car ever, and I think you know the level of that statement.
When we finally got the Datsun running under its own power, I was so fired up, I hopped in it and tried to make a lap, and that didn't go so well. I think I spun it out twice. It came out of gear almost every time I tried to put it in second. The thing was a disaster.
No, he doesn't have it. I risked for nothing.
Oh, no big deal. The battery just fell out.
Oh, good.
In the last turn of the only lap this thing completed, the battery fell over and welded itself to the header. That's not safe.
You know it's a good sign when the hood of a car's open and there's 4 guys standing around it. Turns out the problem with the Datsun is everything.
So at this point it's drizzling and the pavement is wet at the paved acres of destruction. And the destruction was going to be big because we lined up 9 cars side by side by side to do a short little drag race. It probably was about 330 feet.
Everyone set.
3, 2, 1, go.
The results of drag race number 1, Super B in first, El Camino in second, Ranchero in third, Charger next, Macho Grande behind that, then the Ram truck. The Gremlin was essentially dead last in the cars that actually moved because the Crusher spun out and the Datsun never left the starting line. So for our final drag race, we turned the course around. That gave us less stopping distance, but at least we had a launch pad with 0 dirt on it.
Let's do this.
3, 2, 1, go.
Once I wasn't driving through dirt, the Crusher actually came in second place to the Super B. I didn't spin out this time. And then it was the Ranchero in third, then the El Camino, the Charger, the Macho Grande, the Ramp truck, and once again bringing up the rear, the Gremlin.
So finally, in the 2 drag races, the Super B redeemed itself, because out on the autocross, it was slower than the Macho Grande hauling a trailer. But on the drag race, it was good, because I was able to get the thing hooked up and absolutely tromp the Crusher Camaro both times. So in the end, we didn't prove a whole lot here, but we had a bunch of fun. And yeah, Finnegan and I aren't really handling car guys, but we will say we managed to outrun the Motor Trend guys in every one of our pieces of junk. And we were able to trample their Kia. The El Camino and the Crusher Camaro were able to go faster around an autocross than a Kia Rio 5. And I'm standing on that statement proudly because we've got another 7 cars that did not outrun that junk. It proved that the Ranchero, as bad as it was the most fun car to drive on this deal, and I can't even tell you why. It had decent power. I went all the way around in first gear and just shrieked the thing up to like 6,500 RPM. For me, the biggest disappointment was the Charger. It just didn't handle well at all, but it motivated me to fix the thing, and we've got a good plan on what we're going to be doing with this car in the future. So this is only our 25th episode. We hope there's plenty more to come, and we guarantee you you're going to see some of this stuff again, and a whole lot more of Roadkill. Ah! No! Sewage breath! You smell like the Santa Monica Bay! Get lost! I got tongued again! Okay, meanwhile, did you see the, Wow! On this episode of Roadkill, it is all about wrecking Corvettes.
That's not gonna buff out.
In February of 2014, a giant sinkhole opened up underneath the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And it swallowed 8 Corvettes. They're worth like jillions of dollars each, and that is the most roadkill thing that ever happened to a bunch of museum Corvettes. So we figured we needed to check it out. We flew into Florida and tried to pick up the junkiest Corvette that we could so that we could road trip it all the way to Kentucky and check out that sinkhole and have a look at the Corvette assembly line while we were there.
My mission was to find Freiburger and I transportation from Florida to Kentucky. So of course, I went right to Craigslist and looked for the very worst Corvette I could find.
Hey.
Jamie Hannon owned a 75 Corvette that he had bought 6 years ago, found a bunch of rust, and then gave up on this restoration project. And he figured this is the perfect car for roadkill. It's got paint on it.
Dude, this thing is nice.
I'd never seen this car before we got there, and I'm thinking, man, this doesn't look that bad. But then we pulled the plastic off, and yeah, this thing was definitely roadkill. The interior was completely gone, and what was there either came out of a Jeep or was completely rusted into the ground.
So what's actually the dilemma here? Does it run?
Well, there's no windshield, so...
There's one window in the state of Florida. We've called everywhere. It's in Orlando.
It's that hard to find a Corvette windshield? Wow. Oh, this is cheating. We can leave now.
Oh, this is the nicest car with no windshield I've ever driven. So we're checking out the Corvette, and in walks Don Schumacher. The Don.
Hi. How you doing?
Holy crap, that's Don Schumacher.
If you don't know who Don Schumacher is, that means you're probably not an NHRA fan, because this guy's been around since the mid-60s, racing stuff like the Stardust funny cars, and today he is the single biggest owner in top fuel teams in the National Hot Rod Association. This guy Jamie is one of Schumacher's best friends. They go fishing together all the time. He mentions that he's going to the Las Vegas NHRA race the next weekend.
I'm heading to Vegas on Thursday.
And he invites us to just come by the pits and hang out, park our car in the pits and everything.
We can make this thing go to Vegas. Screw the Corvette Museum. Let's go.
We qualify Friday and Saturday, and eliminations are on Sunday. You're welcome into the racetrack. Just send me a text, and I'll arrange for tickets and hospitality and some good meals.
We're either going to the Corvette Museum in Kentucky or maybe drag racing in Las Vegas, because Don Schumacher just showed up here.
On the floor.
Yeah. All right, so we need to get some calipers.
Wow, that's real bad.
Oh, spinning tires.
Do you see the steering wheel like it's doing this?
Oh yeah, it telescopes.
It telescopes, and when you take off, it comes back towards you.
As soon as we got on the street, I rolled a stop sign because the brakes on the Corvette were absolute garbage, and immediately I get pulled over for the second time on Roadkill.
Hey, officer.
You know, there's a stop sign back there. You got to stop at those, okay?
This time the cop was pretty cool, though, and he let us go. He just said, get this junk off the street and pull it right back from where you found it and never have it be on a public road again. Yeah, little did he know.
Before we can go anywhere, the Corvette does need a little bit of work. It hasn't been on the road in about 6 years, and it seems like it runs and drives pretty good. We did a test drive out there. The problem is the brakes are really, really bad. Look at all that brake fluid all over the rotor. This is the great thing about roadkills. People ask, what is the show really about? What do you do? We don't know. We show up to do one thing, and all of a sudden the plan changes. In this case, completely unexpectedly, Don Schumacher shows up, and we decide to go to Las Vegas instead of Bowling Green, Kentucky. We have no idea if we're actually going to pull it off. We need to drive something like 2,600 miles, 36 hours to get to Las Vegas here from Florida, in a Corvette that hasn't run in 6 years, that needs a brake job, that has no interior, in the rain with no windshield.
Check it out, I found the windshield. Oh yeah, it's gonna be perfect. Here's the deal, our new Corvette doesn't have a windshield, and we can't find one within 3 hours of where we're at. So we're gonna make one out of a piece of acrylic that we got from the hardware store, trace it with a Sharpie, cut it out with a jigsaw, tape it in place, and whatever else is leaking, we're just gonna cover up with garbage bags and tape, because it's raining, it's probably snowing, and we need to get this car on the road.
custom. Fixed. He's gonna put just a couple of tech screws in the windshield right now to keep it from blowing out of the car while we're driving. We change the oil, bleed the brakes, hit the road, right?
In theory. This is so nice now that after we put the factory trim back over the Gorilla Tape, I may go back here and slice the excess off, you know, just because we're that high end here at Roadkill.
All right, now the big question is, how am I gonna mount our tack? When it comes to zip tie craftsmanship, I'm hard to beat. Pretty much the renowned expert. Do you like the tension arrangement here?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's sturdy.
The general consensus here is that we may not make it in 3 days to Vegas, and we needed some good luck. And I spotted this in the rafters here. And how can a bald eagle mounted to, what is that, a trophy? But how can this not be good luck? You could run for president in this car.
All right. Westbound and down.
So after a quick brake job, oil change, no tune-up at all, we left Jamie behind, jumped in his Corvette, and headed for Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby, Vegas. I think we're gonna make it.
Tack doesn't work, actually.
Is that on the floor?
Oh, yeah. That's floored.
When we hit the road, we did the quick math and realized we were going to have to drive 12 hours just on this day in order to get to Vegas on time. So we had no time to spare. And that's when the Turbo 400 completely gave up, ruining all hope of getting to Vegas in time. How come it's our nicest car and it went the shortest distance? Actually, the Charger didn't go very far either, but it was fixable. This isn't fixable.
Fewest amount of zip ties on this one, that's the problem.
Yeah. No, this would be us going on Craigslist to try and find another vehicle.
Or we get a trans.
That's a lot of time.
Even if we find a transmission, by the time we change it, there's no way we're getting to Vegas in time for this race.
We're probably going back to Plan A and heading up to the Corvette Museum, but that's only if we could get this thing fixed. We're loaded up on the trailer. Jamie, who gave us the car, is hunting up a transmission. We're gonna see if we can get it swapped out tonight.
You ever towed a Corvette with a bald eagle on the back before?
We ended up towing the Corvette back to Jamie's shop, where at least he softened the blow with a few beers, and he also brought in a bunch of friends to help us and a guy who had found a used Turbo 400 transmission somewhere in his stockpile. And so we jammed on it. We got the car up on a lift, did an R&R on the transmission, and by the time we were done, it was like midnight. The U-joints in this thing are absolutely destroyed. They're all notchy and loose and junky and lost. We have the new Turbo 400 here, but it looks like somebody crammed a metric nut onto the shaft for the shifter. And so we're trying to cut some new threads onto it.
So we left for Nevada 12 hours ago, blew up the transmission 10 miles down the road. These nice folks found us a used one. We've got our old converter on here, but brand new U-joints. And we're about to get back on the road. For where, I have no idea.
We had a running driving Vette, but still no hope of making it to Las Vegas. The next morning, we were stoked again. We were Corvette Museum bound in our perfectly good 75 Corvette.
This car is really not that comfortable.
No. So we stopped for some tourist trap action, and the thing about Florida is that virtually every gas station overloads you with gator stuff.
So a while ago, we were at an auto parts store, and we see this third-gen Camaro. Amazing car. This flawless paint job, said Twix on the side. Something everyone should have, you know? The best part about that car was that it had a alligator print interior and a real alligator molded into the top of the dashboard. Homeboy's got an alligator on his dash. Look at it. David fell in love with it, and I think he's trying to bite that guy's rhyme because he just bought a gator head and zip tied it to our dashboard. I think we're setting trends here. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
the Boogie Nights Corvette or the AARP Corvette?
I was going to try and find you a big gold chain.
The great thing about Roadkill is I get to get out and see the country and some family members. It just so happened that our route to Kentucky took us right through Georgia, where my brother lives.
Spent 9 hours on the road today, none of them warm. We're outside of Georgia now. We're in Atlanta? We're in Ackworth, Georgia. And a few episodes ago, we met Finnegan's dad in the middle of nowhere when we happened to be in Arkansas.
Hey!
This time, we're dropping in on his brother and his mom.
I pretty much won't have to get her a Christmas gift after this.
I dressed especially homeless for this.
You totally look homeless. So once again, we surprised my mom, who happened to be visiting my brother in Georgia that night. Right now they're going, Mom, go answer the door. She's going, it's not my house. Why am I answering the door? Oh, there she is. She's coming. Hey, Mom.
No freaking way! Oh my gosh!
Hey there.
Hello, sweetie pie. Oh.
We ended up spending the night at his brother's house and having a nice home-cooked meal, which is rare, if not impossible, on Roadkill. And then the next morning, fired up our Corvette and totally brought down the property value.
I don't think they want that thing in front of their museum. That would give Corvettes a bad name.
Good seeing you, Dad.
Drive safe.
I went the last time.
Ooh, look at that. Now, I don't know if you realize the true historical significance of this Corvette. See, if you go back to Corvette history, you look at 1953, and that car had an inline six-cylinder engine making 150 horsepower. And 22 years later, they had eclipsed that. This Corvette, with its L48 350 engine, makes 165 horsepower. That's right, this is the lowest powered V8 Corvette ever made. And they're not even pissed off horsepower. They're not even mildly annoyed horsepower. But the good news is the interior is super comfy with these Jeep Wrangler seats and no dash to get in the way. Yeah, this is about as good as a Corvette gets, at least a Roadkill Corvette. So it's Thursday morning now, and we're on our way to Bowling Green, Kentucky, where we're going to go see where they actually make Corvettes, because we need to give them a few tech tips based on our intimate knowledge of this particular model.
Yeah, here's where you screwed up. That part of the car that allows water to go in the car, don't do that anymore.
This is the worst Corvette ever. It has no horsepower, no windows, it's really cold. The only thing keeping us from freezing to death are these blankets, but other than that, things are going pretty well. And I'm feeling pretty good about this trip, right up until the point where we ran out of gas.
We were shocked to discover that the fuel gauge in the Corvette wasn't really accurate. We were able to jag across like 4 lanes of traffic, up and off ramp, barely cresting the top of it, just in time to hit another downhill part where we coasted into a gas station, within like 10 feet of the pump. It couldn't have gone better. Once we figured out how to keep gas in the tank, it was pretty much smooth sailing till we finally arrived at the mecca of Corvettes, Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is the site of not only the National Corvette Museum, but also the assembly plant where every single Corvette has come from since 1981. And they even had special parking just for us. Finally made it to Bowling Green, and we're deep inside the heart of the Corvette plant. This is where all the brand new Corvettes come from, right here. There's 7 miles of conveyor belts that go around inside this building. That's 1 million square feet. It's 14 acres.
I was just at Disneyland like a week ago with my kid. and it looks a lot like this, except this is brighter and moving a lot slower, but somehow this is more fun than Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
This is where the frame is actually built from the ground up. Frame is actually aluminum now as opposed to steel. That makes it 99 pounds lighter and about 57% stiffer.
This is where they all come together. The engine's being installed up from the bottom, or actually the body's being dropped onto the chassis from above.
Yeah,
that's cool. Oh, there, check it out.
The headers are on it already?
They obviously don't know how to do this right because there isn't ATF all over the floor. I don't see anybody looking for tools.
I hate to say this, but it really makes us look like amateurs.
It kind of does. So many people here are recognizing us, people who work on the assembly line. I think we're going to be responsible for ruining a couple new Corvettes because people are stopping working to wave at us.
Dude, y'all the real deal.
Oh, thanks.
Roadkill is awesome. I can't begin to tell you.
Thank you.
My boys are gonna freak.
Cool.
Hey, thanks.
Very nice. Thanks a lot.
Wow, you paid him to do that, didn't you? Look at that. Nobody's driving that.
That's crazy.
It's called our AGC robot. It's the automated guided cart. That's special vision technology. So if you were to actually be standing in front of it, it would patiently wait for you to move before it moved on.
After the tour, we finally reached the very end, the place where these Corvettes spring to life for the very first time and move under their own power. And the very first thing they do after like 10 feet is run over these gnarly stutter bumps that settle the suspension for them.
I'm not really a Corvette guy. You know, they're expensive. I really can't afford one. But I gotta admit, I walked out of this place wanting one.
Finally, we arrived at our ultimate destination, ground zero for Corvette destruction.
These are the ones they pulled out.
So this thing fell into Middle Earth. It's really not that trashed.
That's like most of the stuff in my driveway.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. So Hill and Karen Clark donated their car to the museum, and this is how it gets treated?
Yep.
Not leaving my car parked here. That one I just put right back in the hole. How do we get to the hole, miss?
You're heading that way.
Keep on going. Hole's that
Don't
one?
go in it.
Oh, we're going deep.
There's a glass wall.
That's why we got these.
We knew the odds were pretty low that the guys at the Corvette Museum would allow us to actually ghost ride our Stingray into the hole. But we thought we'd try anyway. I mean, hell, we drove all the way from Florida. How could they tell us no? We have a car we'd like to donate to the museum.
You do?
But we want to put it directly in the hole, so it can no longer hurt any of mankind.
Okay. Well, what kind of car is it?
75 Corvette.
A 75. I thought we'd say Mustang.
Oh, no, we want to make a time capsule. We want to make a donation.
No offense, nobody wants this Corvette. I would actually like to ghost ride the Corvette into the hole.
You would, yeah.
Brick the gas pedal, let it go. Where she lays, she lays.
Think of the live video feed.
Yes, that would be something I would like to see. That'd be fun.
All right, sweet hole, Bob. Thanks for showing us.
You're very welcome.
I don't think Bob's going to let me put my Stingray in his sinkhole. After a week-long immersion into the Corvette world and seeing the sinkhole that swallowed 8 Vettes, we get it now. Chevy runs deep.
So in the end, it turns out we kind of offended these guys with the suggestion that our 75 should go back in the hole and get covered up and paved over, sort of as a memento to the Corvettes that could have been lost. And so here we bring you gratuitous Corvette violence, all 165 horsepower worth.
Yeah, the beauty of this is that we can't open the hood because the cable broke.
Yeah.
So we're fine.
So I finally got the Corvette Stingray out of my system. I'd kind of wanted one for a long time, and now I'd had a road trip in one. If you think about it, this is a roadkill win. We took a car that had not run in 6 years, fixed it, overcame adversity, went to the Corvette assembly plant, saw the sinkhole, and unfortunately did not get to leave our Corvette behind.
As usual, time was short and we had to jump on an airplane home. So we called up our buddies at Holly and said, hey man, you can have the keys to our Corvette.
Why are we always bailing these guys out? Divas.
Here's the choices. You take it right back to that building over there and park it. Okay, it's not legit to be on the street.
Okay.
All right. If I see it again, we're gonna have to tow it.
That's my second choice. Go.
Second choice.
Okay, well,
right.
I'm picking option number 1.
All right.
Thank you very much for the courtesy.
On this episode of Roadkill, we trade a 600 horsepower Chevy truck for a Volkswagen with a busted door.
I think he's enjoying that too much now. The muscle truck is a 1974 Chevy that you first saw in episode 18 of Roadkill. It's powered by an all-aluminum LS6, it has a turbo 400 automatic transmission, a gear vendor's overdrive, and a Ford 9-inch rear end with 513 gears. The thing that changed about the muscle truck since the last time you saw it? That's right, EFI. This is MSD Atomic Self-Learning EFI. It's supposed to be a real simple deal, and so far it's running good. We're impressed so far.
Here's the plan. We've already been drag racing with this truck, but Freiburger and I think it could also work off-road. It could be the ultimate dual sport vehicle with just a little bit of modification.
So we know we can take the rear fenders off and put giant rubber on it, but the problem's up at the front end. It's got drop spindles and airbags, and I've aired the bags all the way up, so we're trying to decide if we're either gonna cut the fenders out or remove the whole front clip so we can fit maybe a 33 or something taller.
That's a big tire for the front of this.
Yeah, that hits everything.
You'd have to trim the front of the fender, maybe a little bit of the back of the fender, the top of the fender.
Yeah, to make it steer. It's also all the way down right now.
That helped, but...
It would look rad though.
Yeah.
So the question is, you want to make it work?
Yeah, as I say, does it look good enough to warrant getting out the Sawzall? That's what you gotta ask yourself.
But we have to decide.
Can't believe I'm saying this. I vote that tire on the front and just hack the fender.
I like my fender. Okay, go get them mounted. We got our boggers mounted up, threw them in the back of the truck, and it was time to hit the road. Because you know what? We're not even gonna test fit these things until we hit the sand dunes. Wow, this thing's loud.
How bad are the brakes on this truck?
Oh, can they be considered bad when they don't exist? So really, the muscle truck could be surf, sand, and sea. It could be drag strip, off-roading, and handling.
Yeah, the handling thing.
Not really.
Not so much. I don't know if these are the right tires to go to the sand dunes, but it's what they had in stock that would fit our truck, so we're gonna try them.
Salton City, California is a beautiful resort town. They've got roads that resemble waves. I was ready to surf this thing. Check that out.
We are about 5 hours from Los Angeles in Imperial County, home of the Imperial Sand Dunes, which are better known as Glamis.
So what we have here is a 37 by 13.0 Super Swamper Bogger, and on the front we have a 31 by 1150.
Step number one is there's about 8 half-inch bolts holding the top end of the step side to the bed.
She's free?
She's free.
Okay, next step is going to be to raise the front of the truck with airbags.
It's no secret that Freiburger is a little bit delusional with regards to automobiles and time and money. He thinks we're going to be able to stick those 31s under this truck and go off-roading without them hitting the fenders.
No, I don't think that. I hope that. Next thing what we're going to do is remove the inner fender wells out of this thing, because I continue to believe that I don't want to trash all the sheet metal on the truck. Look at that pristine inner fender well.
Clearance, Clarence.
One of the things I did to prep before we even got here is put this pre-filter on the cone air filter. Because if you have one of those regular, like, you know, K&N or Air Raid type filters on it, it'll get sand packed in it out on the dunes, so.
Well, normally I'd zip tie this wiring harness to the fender, but we only have 3 whole zip ties on this trip. The world's worst duct tape is gonna hold that up there.
Oh, don't you hate that? Don't you hate it when you're dealing with one of those ratchet type jack stands and you go to move it and the thing slams down and pinches you right in the web of your thumb? A lot of people believe that you want an all-terrain tire, a nice smooth tread for flotation on the top of the sand. When I was the editor of 4-Wheel and Off-Road, we did a test and actually proved that a typical mud terrain is better than a typical all-terrain for blasting around in the dunes. But I'm sure plenty of you will disagree with that. And you'll probably be right when we go out there and sink this thing right to China. Ready?
God, this jack is fast.
That is a look. That's instant transformation. This is the sand muscle truck. This is a dual sport muscle truck.
This is Brutus.
I don't care if we don't make it 10 feet. This is a good look.
This is the best this truck's ever looked. Look how pissed off it is.
This gives it purpose too, doesn't it?
Ridiculous. I love it.
I think we've only spent about half an hour transforming it up to this point, maybe 45 minutes. But now we get into the really bloodthirsty part. It's gonna make me cry.
Well, here's the thing, is you can either just nip that corner there
and then just put a half.
And put a half moon, which looks weird.
Yeah.
Or we can continue this cut and then bring it back down into here. Why don't we just do that? I am ruining Freiburger's day by plotting out how much sheet metal I think we're gonna have to hack off of this thing to keep it from crunching the fenders.
Somehow it doesn't have that Roadkill hacked but still cool thing going on. But I don't know what else we're gonna do. Wow. I don't know. Maybe I should just look the other way. The audience is gonna hate this as much as I do. So I think we should just cut away from it so nobody has to look at the gore, and then come back. We'll look at, see how good it is.
We'll go home, we'll save this piece, flange it, Zeus it back on there. Then it truly is dual sport. Like it?
Sure.
By here, Freiburger will be in tears. And by here, he'll be throwing tools. And then it's, let's ride. Visualize the cut.
Yeah, I can't look. Just go.
Why is this fun for me right now?
It's not often you can actually get a photo of the moment of a loss of a loved one. Too late now.
Hello.
Did it just come out or break?
Broke the blade.
Okay. I'll just get you another one. It'll be fine.
Wow. Okay, where were you on this one, this one, and that one?
Well, as I was indicating before, the center is not the center, see?
Wow, that is bad. Yeah, he's just gonna make a flange and Zeus it right back on. It'll be mint.
Look how much clearance you have now.
I'm gonna go cry. I think we just took about 2,500 bucks off the value of it. But then again, we bolted on $2,000 worth of boggers, so it all evens out. The thing that's gonna make it all great is the moment we're out there in the sand dunes blasting around.
Now you're talking.
Oh, I'm thinking it's pretty good.
Oh, that was awesome. It works awesome. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes! I think I'm glad we got the boggers. Did you feel it start to dig and then I throttled out of it? This is great!
Totally worth cutting the fenders for.
Oh yeah, we win.
Oh my God!
Okay. We're done.
Don't get stuck.
What are you doing?
That's not good at all, dude. Can we blow it back?
Yeah.
Well, our fun was cut a little bit short when we blew an airline going to the right front airbag. And of course, we don't have any airline. So we're gonna have to get creative here fixing that. And we can't get towed because we are nowhere near a highway. See those lights a couple miles that way? That's not the highway either. So we're gonna have to be MacGyver and fix this by ourselves.
We won't be defeated.
Good God, no.
We're back in the shop and we're gonna fix this thing. We decided that we needed to have a little bit more action out of the truck since we mangled it so badly. So we're gonna head up to Pismo this afternoon and do a shootout with Fred Williams from Dirt Every Day. But we have a couple things to fix, like, are you on the airline?
Yeah, we'll get the airline replaced. We'll get rid of the duct tape holding the wiring up.
Yeah. That and the exhaust fell off of this thing in the middle of the night on the road when we were on our way home from Glamis, the last deal, and it literally made for my worst night on Roadkill ever. It was freezing. It was like ear-piercing loud.
That was a crappy ride.
It was horrible.
And believe it or not, as much as I hacked the fender out, it still needs more because it rubs.
You're right. Oh, were you going to tune that up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It'll Zeus right back in.
Let's get out of here. That's pretty good. So we fixed the muscle truck, headed up PCH, and drove right through Malibu. Ultimately, we ended up in Pismo, California, and the next day, we were heading to the dunes. We woke up the next morning and had kind of a Mythbusters moment where we had to find out, could we smoke a set of 37-inch boggers with the muscle truck? The answer?
I'm standing in the middle of nowhere waiting on Freiburger and Finnegan, right on schedule. Be here at 9 a.m., they said.
Sorry we're early.
9 a.m., 12 p.m., whatever, it's all the same.
Yeah, we made it.
How are you?
How's it going?
Pretty good. Is this your muscle truck?
Car has paint on it.
I haven't seen the bug.
Oh, it's pretty good. That door doesn't shut.
I like the wagon wheels.
I like the boggers.
Those are shovels.
But you've got lightweight going for you, and we've got horsepower and boggers.
I know. I think we're pretty even.
Pretty even?
Considering.
I don't want to stand around anymore.
All right, let's go play in the sand.
Well, what's the plan? I think...
Race to the top of that dune. That's the plan.
Ooh, a drag race. A drag race uphill?
Yes. Starting downhill.
But start here.
Oh, here's the other thing.
It's on the other side.
Whenever you get somewhere, don't stop pointing uphill. You'll get stuck again.
We do have a shovel.
So here's what's happening. We've got the rental truck stuck, the bug stuck, the muscle truck stuck, and this guy's gonna yank us out right now. Yay!
Fred is stuck again. We'd be nothing without the video truck on this trip.
I really thought hooking up with the host from Dirt Every Day would up our dirt game, but no. If anything, it's slowing us down. All right, fellas, this is a drag race up that hill. To win the drag race, you have to go all the way over and disappear. I don't want to see you. If you get stuck and dig dirt from China, you lose. If you both get stuck, you have to get out and run to the top of the hill. Okay?
What?
When you hear me yell the word yoga pants, start your car and go.
Yogurt pants?
Yoga pants. Everybody got their safety gear on. All right, fellas.
What?
Yoga pants. Oh, really close. Go muscle truck. We win. So clearly, there is an advantage for you in acceleration and all that crap and horsepower. So this time...
I can't hear anything you're saying.
You're fine, don't worry.
What?
This time, go to the top, and you have to go all the way to the flat part, turn around and come back down. So you're a little more maneuverable. This may equalize things a little bit here.
First, second, third, neutral, reverse, park.
All right, we good? Chuck Norris. Fred's being a little timid. Volkswagen's already making the turn. Uh-oh, Fred went way over the top. Way over the top. Just like that bad movie with Sylvester Stallone. Volkswagens are almost halfway here. Fred's not scared though, he's getting after it.
That's awesome.
All right, so I gotta ask you, who's having more fun? That's what I want to know.
I think we're both having a riot.
Okay, all right.
I had fun.
I want to try it.
Finnegan's busy right now. Here's what I need you to do. The challenge is going to be highest carve on this bowl.
All right.
It's the nearly vertical ball, I might add. I'm gonna flip a coin. You're gonna decide which car you're driving first.
Okay.
Heads is gonna be muscle truck, okay?
Okay.
Ah! What is
Ready? In the sand.
Heads.
All right, muscle truck. Let's do this.
It's pretty miserable. Sand in my eyes, grit in my teeth, my truck getting ruined by other people. Turn the wheel to your right. Who needs four-wheel drive?
Oh boy. Okay, I think I can go higher. Let's try that again.
Go, 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 go! There you go, there you go, there you go! Well, he did just beat the muscle truck all the way to the top. Oh, check this out. Final challenge. Hill climb, jump. Toss-up?
I think it is a tie.
Really? Wow. I am leaning towards the bug just for...
Well, it got more air.
It got more air, it carved higher on the bull, it rides smoother, but it definitely isn't just as fun to rip around it.
I would say if you want the bug, I will take the muscle truck.
I like the bug. That's pretty nice.
Bug's good.
So in the end, we found ourselves driving home in this 69 Volkswagen Baja Bug. It was actually pretty cool, and you know what? I think the reason we did it is at this point, Finnegan and I were not ready for another long night in the loud old muscle truck. So maybe call us soft. And we'll leave it for you to decide. Did we really trade a 600 horsepower pickup truck for a VW? Maybe you'll find out in a future episode of Roadkill. So here's some stuff you didn't get to see last time. First and foremost, the ultimate cup holder / ratchet shifter mount. I'm pretty proud of this thing. It's made out of fence decorative hardware. This thing is, in fact, genius. I'm chewing sand. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grit in my teeth.
Better than floss. Better than fluoride. Better than brushing every day.
But just flange it. Zeus,
Oh, yeah.
Zeus it right
We'll
back.
go right back. No one will notice. Like it never happened.
In the room of pixels, where drinks come alive in neon symphony, where gamers chat, ice fix dark screens in the dark. We play the fantasy so true. The Milky Way, night car gaming mix. Our world reunites, beating true levels in the curve of night, the rush of adrenaline. Our spirit drinks are free. Nightcore gaming mix, unity degree with victory claimed in this virtual world. Delight embracing the light as we make the night.
This episode of Roadkill, we're going to show you the entire buildup of my 55 Chevy Bel Air.
With Hemi.
So here's how I ended up with the 55 Chevy. When I was in high school, a buddy of mine named Clay Baber had a 56 Bel Air, and it was a four-door, it wasn't a gasser, but the body style left an impression on me. So that, and seeing the movie Two Lane Blacktop, just made me obsessed with this body style and getting one of these cars in my garage at some point in my life.
A year and a half. That's how long it's been since we ran up to Oregon in episode 8 of Roadkill and took his bare 55 Chevy body, plopped it onto a Jim Meyer Racing gasser chassis, and then came home and almost did nothing with it.
And so now we're gonna force him to get it done. We gotta jam this thing together in 15 days in time for the Grand National Roadster Show.
So she looks different from the last time you saw her because all of the rust is gone. That's a fiberglass front clip, which we bought to shave weight. Here's the Jim Meyer Racing bitchin' gasser chassis. So far, we've moved the firewall back to actually fit the Hemi in here, started a roll cage, but essentially, it needs everything. So the car over the last year and a half hasn't had a ton of work done to it, but it hasn't exactly sat around either. It's got all new floorboards, which we got from Classic Industries, and had our friends at Hot Rods and Hobbies weld into the car. So we've got a solid foundation that we can now use to weld our roll cage into, which we got from Chris Dowson's Chassis Works. So the car is solid. It's basically a roller. The body is mostly intact. We've just got to do everything else to make it run. It's a ton of work, but it's not impossible. I predict a lot of all-nighters and broken knuckles and stuff like that, but we may end up divorced from our wives on this deal, but I will finally get to drive my car, hopefully on my birthday. Yeah, I mean, when you're gonna build a car in 15 days, you need a list, because you're never gonna remember anything, even with the list, but this at least keeps everyone on track. But the big thing is it reminds you need to order parts, because we don't have anything we need to build this right now, and it's day one, and we need the overnight stuff, basically. Wow, you're good.
The reasons that we dummied the engine in the car are, one, we needed to measure up a drive shaft length so that we could get that coming. And then we had to put the steering column in the car. And the main reason for that is to see what our obstacles are for making headers. See, the problem here is this is the steering box, and this is where this needs to go, and I'm not even lined up with the port. It needs to come up. Even this side's a nightmare. It goes straight into the frame rail, but way more workable than your side.
So our second major hurdle is figuring out how to build a set of headers for this thing, because nobody makes headers to put a Hemi in a 55. So we've got a bunch of bends from Hedman headers. We're gonna chop them up right now and see if our engine location is gonna work with our steering. So this is our test pipe right here.
Give me the cold end.
If we make this work, then we can leave the engine where it's at and we don't have to hack up the rest of the car.
Which will save us days. Yeah, I'm worried it's gonna hit in here if we do that. Go like this.
I'll put a more of an angle this way on it.
Yeah. We've never made headers before, but so far it's proving easy. All you need is flanges and a zillion tube bends and a whole lot of cutting, slicing, dicing, pie cutting, wedging, pizza cutting, and figuring.
And a great attitude.
Last night I had an epiphany about how to get that one header tube around the steering column, and that sort of broke this project wide open because we were thinking we were going to have to drop the steering box or raise the engine or do something to get headers on the car. So Finny and I stayed really late last night getting really excited about building sets of headers, and we're trying to make them perfectly symmetrical on both sides so it's got that cool Gasser evil look. See, the deal is when you cut the tube in a straight piece, it becomes perfectly round. If you cut it off square in the middle of a turn, then it becomes a big oval like this, and there's no way to put them together. So that makes this more of a challenge.
They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. It's kind of what we've been doing here today.
Yeah, how many of those bends have we used?
Look, there's your Hedman Hemi into 55 Chevy header kit, and there's the mistakes.
Those aren't mistakes, those are trim, those are fine-tuning adjustments. Dude.
Just set it on there, next to our new header.
That is Gasser right there. Look at that.
Yay us. Yay us.
That's pretty big. That's something we have not done before. Yeah, they're definitely a Gasser-looking header for sure. They've got a little bit of zoomy action going to them, and then the Gasser thing. Look at that. Yeah!
Oh, man.
That's the reason we're here.
That is a giant engine.
I know. It looks even better with the headers, doesn't it?
Oh, my God.
Wow.
It just got real. Look at that.
This side, not so impressive. This side, swing. There, okay. A lot of people think that we fabricate drama for Roadkill and we're always on a tight schedule and why don't we plan better? Well, here is the reality of our life. We're working on 5 different cars here right now that all need to get done before the end of the month. My 32 Ford there is going to become a roller to go to the Grand National Roadster Show at the same time as Finnegan's 55, which is of course the major project. Then we've also got the muscle truck that's getting MSD fuel injection on it for an editorial story. And over here, we've got my Super B and Crusher Camaro that Grant is prepping to take to the drag strip next week. Actually, yeah, which is going to take 3 days out of the schedule to go have to test those 2 things.
That's talking more working. There are 11 days left in order to complete the entire car. And so I needed help. Right now, video guy Mark is TIG welding the headers that we built the other day. My buddy Todd is helping me fit the fiberglass front clip on this thing. And it'll be a big accomplishment if today we can make that thing tilt. I think we have to cut it back here.
We're having a problem fitting the front end. The fiberglass seems like really rigid over here and it doesn't fit as well as it used to. And we're thinking it's because we tried to dry that fiberglass resin with a heat gun and it might have warped the glass a little bit right there. And so Todd's gonna grind on it and try and make it a little bit more supple, see if we can fit it again. Yeah. Ready? Does it hit? And yes, big time. Oop, but. Yeah.
Look at that. That is cool. I need to sit behind the wheel. That is so evil looking.
Pretty cool. That's way too high.
Way too high, but I get to see. The next big moment will be firing it off.
Yeah.
We finished the headers, we were dead tired, but we loaded the engine up and took it straight to the dyno. The dyno has its own cooling system, which the guys hooked up because we thought we were really close to getting ready to fire the engine up, but the moment they turned the water onto the engine, a hole magically appeared in the water pump, and it's just peeing out onto the floor of the dyno cell, which is no good. So we're gonna have to go buy a new water pump. $680 pound-feet of torque. That's gonna be fun. Now that it's broken, we're gonna drain the oil out of it, cut the oil filter open. That's gonna give us a good visual check of how the bearings are doing in this thing right now. And if this thing is full of, metal, basically your engine's eating itself alive and you need to take it apart and start over. Ours is not doing that. So we get to keep going with this build. Well, I'm at a loss right now. We broke the engine in, made a couple of power pulls to 6,000 RPM, made great power, and it puffed a little bit of smoke out of one breather at the end of a pull. Changed the oil, fired it back up, it's down on power and smoking out of the breathers as if it's wounded. But we did a compression check and it checked out fine. We cut the oil filter rope, drained the oil, everything looks fine. So I don't know what's going on. Every dyno test is an emotional roller coaster. You know, strap the engine down, cross your fingers that it's going to run properly and that the work you've done is correct. 5 hours ago, we found blown head gaskets. Engine's back together now. Hopefully we're heroes. We broke it, we fixed it, and made more power than I actually even requested. Not bad. It was an amazing feeling of accomplishment to overcome that obstacle. We made 700 horsepower and 700 pound-feet of torque. The problem was our one-day dyno test took 2 days, and now there was no hope of making the Roadster show.
When Finnegan brought the engine back from the dyno, we had the body off of the chassis. We needed to paint the underside and do some things like that. And so we were able to mock the engine in and finally get in our bitchin' T56 Magnum transmission, which is a double overdrive 6-speed from American Powertrain. When May 2014 rolled around, we still had not touched the car since our debacle at the Grand National Roadster Show. But we had another scheme. We were going to drive it to the very beginning of the Hot Rod Power Tour event in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And the honest to God truth is, I'm gonna ignore this because this is everything we have to do. I have done things. The actual engine is in the car. Right now, my buddy Todd Griggs is 10 feet in the air sanding the dash because you need to sand the dash to drive, right? All right, so we've got wiring, plumbing, brakes, fuel system, lots to do. Let's go to work.
This is not even close to the complete
registration.
list.
I've insured it. It's got insurance, just doesn't have registration.
Yeah.
I'm mocking up our new gas tank. And this is a stealth tank from Aeromotive. It's a brand new gas tank that's powder coated and has a fuel pump built into it that will support 900 horsepower worth of naturally aspirated engine. Way more than I need. So I bought 2 stock filler necks. I'm gonna pie cut them right around here, weld them back together so that we can reach from here to here. And then Freiburger's gonna plumb this, and then this will be our new fuel system. Next to building engines, this is my favorite part about building cars. Now, all I gotta do is pull this back out, clean the pipe, TIG weld it back together, put it back in here, build a bracket. Done. So I gotta do brakes, the rest of the fuel system, steering, paint the dash.
I'm working on the fuel system, and we want to run hardline the full length underneath the car just because it's more Sano and it flows better. Not going to call it perfection, but it might be Roadkill 55 Chevy good enough. Let's see. I needed to put a whoop-de-doo in this to clear this deal, to drop it down, to clear this body mount. Thing is now, I have to bend another one exactly like that one. And what's the chances that I can do that?
This is the mailbox scoop that's going on the hood of the gasser. This is the whole reason I built this car. This is like waiting for Christmas. I want this on the car. Bueno, like it.
Can we write Hemi on the side of this? Like get some cool 60s graphic? Hemi. There you go.
Okay, so this is why the scoop is clear now. Last night we mounted our yellow scoop right here without realizing that that was gonna hit the front of the scoop. So then we cut the front of the scoop to clear that, and then we realized rain will go in there. So now we made a new top. We're gonna slide it forward about right there. Bend a new top, remount it. Now our scoop's clear.
I've got the fuel system completely mapped out and the hard lines bent, so today my goal is to get it connected to the engine at the front and the gas tank at the back, and then if I can finish that up, I'm gonna move on to the steering column. I finished up my trick little bracket here. See, it holds the fuel tank vent here,
goes to the inside of the car there, and this bolts to the fuel filler neck. Well, it's the end of the second day, and I'm sort of the last guy standing on the 55 project. I think I'm gonna hang out for a little while and try and wrap up my fuel system situation. All the other guys have hit the road to go deal with Mother's Day, which I'll probably do pretty soon as well. And then we'll be back at it Monday, crossing fingers for actual progress.
I wanted to get back to you. We have a truck that's leaving California on the 22nd.
If I say yes and the car's not ready, how much trouble am I in?
What I would ask is that if you're not going to be able to make it, let me know by the 20th or the morning of the 21st, because I'm sure that we can find another vehicle out of California to fill your spot if we need to.
So here's the plan. Don Schumacher, who we met in episode 30, invited us to any race we wanted to go to hang out in his pit. And I thought, good God, it would be amazing to get this car done and go hang out with Don Schumacher at a drag race. And the only one that works with our schedule is in May, and it's the Englishtown event. So we have to build it, make sure it runs, get it to Englishtown in 13 days so we can hang out with Don and then have a road trip adventure and film an episode of Roadkill.
What I'm doing is making these gussets that are gonna end up triangulating this bar to the main hoop and also the main hoop to the windshield bar. And so I'm having to take this piece of tubing and hand fish mouth it so that it fits nicely against the tubing. It's gotta fit really, really tight so that he can TIG weld it. I gotta have virtually no gap all the way around this grind.
All right, so here's the stress. In a Tri-5 Chevy, the frame rails run right about here. Well, you don't want to put a roll bar there, that's right where your feet go. So the bar comes way out here, and then you weld this outrigger to the frame, and then the bar comes down here and contacts it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the floor out so that we can access all sides of the steel. And then we'll weld the floor back in. We're nearing the end of the build here, and I always figured it would be something like the clutch not working or fuel pump or something that would stop us dead in our tracks. But right now, our Lexan windshield doesn't fit the car. We accidentally cut it too small. I need to call ProGlass to order a new front window, which is kind of a big deal because they make them one at a time. But before I do that, we're gonna test fit the back window to see if that one needs reordering too before I call. So since yesterday, we got a lot done actually. We named the car, kind of a big deal, you know, because that'll help it run. And we got the seat frame done, the ignition box and the fuel panel are in. There's really about like 4 hours worth of wiring left, and then we can try to fire the engine. I think it's tomorrow. It feels like tomorrow. It feels like the day we're supposed to be leaving. But we're doing good. There hadn't really been any major hiccups. So if we can stay awake, we're gonna make it. There, I'm rested. I can go again.
So here's the deal on the shoulder bar. This is the roll cage kit for the Datsun. I can bend, or I can cut this bend off and that bend off and sleeve it in the middle and make our shoulder bar. And I've ransacked the shop, and our digital caliper that doesn't have digital readout tells me it's this size. So,
No.
yes.
Oh no. There's so much work in this.
It's the only piece in the whole shop that fits.
This is it? The whole shop? There's nothing but...
Not even close. Also not even close. What is that, like shower piping? You saved the Datsun. All right, the Datsun lives. And now I have got to butt and sleeve both halves of the shoulder bar together. And this is a moment of truth where I'm actually gonna cut it and start that process. If it's too short right now, I cry like a girl. Roadkill aficionados, I will have you know, this came from the Datsun. So the Datsun is now saving the bacon of the 55 Chevy. This probably takes 2 people. I could be wrong, but it probably does. Finn.
I don't think we're gonna leave till tomorrow. The good news is, the guys that are transporting the car, somehow we suckered them into working on the car. So although they were gonna leave today, they're busy putting lights in the car and putting the hood on, so maybe they won't notice that we're probably not going to leave for 24 hours later than they thought they were going to leave.
What can we cross off? Seat mount. We're sitting in them.
Yes.
O2 bung, I brought it. Parking brake, not gonna happen. Rear view mirror, not happening here. Glove box. Done. Gauges, no. Windshield, no. Rear window, no. Console plate, no. Adjust doors, no. Finish flares, no. Grind door welds. Done. Okay.
Oh, this isn't so bad now, see?
Oh yeah, no problem.
There's only 20 or 30 more things on there.
It looks a lot like that.
We're fine.
It's 5 a.m., 2 days past when we were supposed to leave, and we're about to fire this thing up for the first time. We hope. We've already had fuel leaks, dead battery, wiring issues. That's all solved. Right now is supposed to be rank, vroom.
All right. Water pump's on. Ready? Fan, VSS. All right, here we go. Look at that, fired right up. There you go, that's off. 3 weeks of thrashing, lots of blisters on my hands from wiring until I'm, well, blistered. But now, I'm gonna try to go around the block. All right, ready? The clutch is still engaged. Well, that was the worst, best ride of my entire life. The brakes don't work, the clutch sticks, it rides horribly, and I don't care. 'Cause look at this.
Man, that was a lot of wrenching over a lot of time, but we finally got it done. And you're gonna come back to the next episode of Roadkill where we're actually gonna hit the road headed to Charlotte for Hot Rod Power Tour. How many times have we, finished this car for the first time, for the last time?
Is this the second attempt or the third attempt?
Yeah, we're gonna build it in 3 days.
This is completely embarrassing. I have no idea where reverse is on this transmission. So I'm gonna go get a shift knob that has the pattern on it so I can find out.
Just want to get in there and swim around for about a week, making motor noises because it doesn't run right now.
I just want to put 8 more screws in it and be done with it.
It's not a bad idea.
Oh, it's only 1 a.m.
It's early.
It's half day. Oh, I'm good now. Let's get back to work.